Okay, class, this is an explanation of how to graph. Um, we've done graphing plenty of times. It's just mainly like a reminder. So you guys will be ready for the exam tomorrow. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some equations like this on the exam. Okay, and they'll be set up like this: y equals. Okay, so this is the way we need it. This is the form we need it in so that we could graph it. Okay, and this is called slope intercept because they give me my slope and my intercept. Remember, x is just a variable. So the number in front of the x, which we call m, is your slope. And this b, the number that does not have a variable, is your y-intercept. And I wrote in parentheses here, start here with an exclamation point. Okay, don't forget this. Always start with the number that does not have the x. So let's start with this first one. Here I see 1/2 or 1/2 x. Okay, this one has an x, so and this one it just has a -4. Okay, so it looks like this is my y-intercept. So I'm going to start there. Notice there's no x here. Okay, and remember to take the sign in front of it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the number that does not have the x. And this number is your y-intercept. So I mean, this is your y-axis. So it's going to be on this line. Your first point will always be on this line. First point will always be on your y-axis. Okay, so if I have a -4, we know that this is 0, right? Right where they meet, that's 0. This would be -1, -2, -3, -4. Okay, so I have a -4 there, so I'm gonna put my first point there. Okay, and I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can see where my point is at. Okay, so I just counted 4 units down because my numbers here are negative. These are positive, so this would be +1, +2, +3, and so forth. So since it was a negative, I'm gonna go below the x-axis. Okay, remember, your first point will always be on the y-axis. Then, once I plot this point, my y-intercept, then I can move on to my slope. And slope is equal to rise over run. Now, I can either go by rise, it means either up or down, depending if it's a positive or negative, right? Negatives go down, positives go up. Run means I'm either going to the left or right. Okay, so, and again, depending if it's a negative or positive. Think about it like the graph. We know that if we start here, if we go to the left, we have negative numbers. Go to the right, we have positive. That's why if my number is negative, then I'm going to run, then I'm going to move to the left. If it's positive, I'm going to move to the right. Or you can also see it as, hey, my slope will look like this going up the hill if it's positive. If my slope is positive. So in this case, my slope would be positive because I have no negative there. So 1/2 would be positive there. So it's going to look something like that. So that gives you an idea of how, which way it's going to be pointing. Okay. Now, a graph can also be pointing down like this. So from left to right, be going down. This is for slopes that are negative. Okay, so this is a good way of kind of knowing that, okay, which way am I supposed to go with my rise and run? So let's start with this one. My slope is 1/2. Now my numerator, which is rise, right, the top, is a 1. So I'm going to rise 1 unit. Now it's positive, so I'm going to go up because anything up is positive, anything down is negative. So, but I'll have to start from my y-intercept. So I have to start from that point that I first plotted, okay? And then I have to start counting there. And I say, okay, well, I have to rise 1 unit. That's 1, okay? And then I don't plot a point there yet. I have to include the 2 also. Now, 2 is run. So that's either left or right, okay? Now, it's also positive, so it moves to the right. And I'm going to move 2 units, 1, 2. My point will be there, okay? So what I did was I moved up 1 unit, rise 1, and then 2 was for run, 1, 2. Okay, and I'm going to keep doing that. Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. And so forth. Look at this trend. It's going up the hill, so positive. Okay, I'm correct. Yeah, it is a positive slope. Okay. I can also go down 1, to the left 2, because down is negative, to the left is negative. Negative over negative make a positive. So down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Okay. There we have a line. That's it. So let's do the second one. Start here, your y-intercept. This positive one does not have an x, so that's where I'm going to start. And my first point will always be on the y-axis. So if that's a positive 1, my first point will be here. Then I look at my slope. I have a whole number there, okay? It's just -3. I don't have a fraction here. But we know that if it's a whole number, then it's over 1. Okay, so I have to -3. So, oh, notice that is a negative slope. So it's going to look something like this. Now, -3 is in my numerator, which is rise. So I'm going to start from the point that I plotted first and say rise -3. Okay. That means if it's negative, that means I'm going to go down. Okay. It's either up or down. I'm going to go down 3 because it's negative. 1, 2, 3. I don't plot there yet. I still have to include the 1, and that's run. Okay. And the 1 is a positive, so I'm going to move to the right. And that's where I plot my point. I'm going to keep doing that. So I went down 3 to the right 1, down 3 to the right 1. And I always start from my previous point. So this was the last point I plotted. I'm going to start there and say down 3 to the right 1. I can also say up 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3, starting from my y-intercept. I'm going to go to the left 1. Up 3 to the left 1. Okay. Now, I went up 3, so that means that was a positive 3. But I went to the, so I went up 3, that's positive. But I went to the left when I did the run. Okay, I went to the left, and that's negative. Now, 3 over -1 is the same thing as -3 over 1. That's why it still lines up with my line. They're the same thing. So these two, don't forget this, are equal. These are equal. Yeah, they look different and you say, oh, well, but the negative one, this is the negative is to the one, not the three. Same thing, okay? Because I have a positive and a negative makes a negative. Negative and a positive make a negative. So I still have the same slope. And draw a line here. To represent that linear function. And that's it. So start here with your y-intercept, then look at your slope. And this will help you determine, okay, am I going the right way? Am I doing the rise and run correctly? Well, the red linear equation is a negative slope, so it's going downhill. Good. And the first equation there is a positive slope, 1/2, so it's going up.